Welcome to our lesson today on the Titanic, the ship of dreams. This is going to start off our lesson on ships. It took 3,000 Harland and Wolff shipbuilders to construct this ship. It was over 882 feet long. That's almost 3 football fields. There were 246 injuries and 2 deaths recorded during the ship's 26-month construction in Belfast. 100,000 people turned up to see the ship's launch on May 31st, 1911. On the ship, one of the smokestacks didn't work. Only 3 of the 4 smokestacks were actually functional. The extra one was just to make the ship look more impressive. Some of the first-class passengers were some of the richest and most important people of the time. They included businessmen such as John Jacob Astor and Benjamin Guggenheim. First-class amenities included a Parisian cafe, tea gardens, a gymnasium, a library, and reading rooms. Café Parisien. This was a very popular eating area on the Titanic, as it resembled the boutiques and cafes of modern Paris. Some of the luxuries in first class included a swimming pool, Turkish baths, a squash court, and a dog kennel. Many of the second-class passengers were tourists, such as teachers and clergy. A team of Harland and Wolff traveled as second-class passengers alongside some of the staff in the first-class passengers, such as nannies and chauffeurs. The second-class dining room included seating for 2,400 people at one time, and a pianist would entertain the diners while they ate. The furniture was mahogany, and the upholstery was red crimson to add to the atmosphere. The passengers in third class were mainly immigrants coming to America for a new life. They came across in various locations such as Ireland, England, and Scandinavia. While the first class promenade suites had private bathrooms, most of the passengers on the Titanic had to share bathrooms. The third class had it very rough with only 2 bathtubs for more than 700 passengers. The boat deck was the uppermost deck on the Titanic. It was so named this because the lifeboats were housed there. The boat deck offered the real only open space on the ship for first and second class passengers. They could stroll along, and they could also play games on the boat deck. The grand staircase on board descended down 7 of the ship's 10 decks and featured oak paneling, bronze cherubs, and paintings. The total number of staterooms equals 840. The total number of staterooms in first class was 416, 162 in second class, and 262 in third class. The musicians aboard Titanic had a rough job. They were expected to know all the songs in the songbook given to the passengers, so if they made requests, they could play them. They all lost their lives aboard the ship. They played until the ship went down. The ship received 6 warnings about icebergs during the voyage. About 11:40 p.m., Captain Smith was awakened by the collision and rushed to the bridge. He received the report that an accident from Murdoch and then made a quick inspection of the ship with Thomas Andrews. He immediately ordered the boats prepared, but wavered when it came to giving the order to load and lower them. Only 16 wooden lifeboats and 4 collapsible boats were carried, enough to accommodate 1,178 people. That's only 1/3 of Titanic's total capacity, but more than legally required. The iceberg was spotted at 11:40 p.m. on April 14, 1912, by lookout Frederick Fleet, who proclaimed, "Iceberg, right ahead!" Fleet survived the disaster and was a lookout on the RMS Oceanic during the 20s before serving in the Second World War. The ship broke in two around 2:20 a.m. on April 15th and sunk, sending all remaining passengers into the ocean. The temperature would have been -2 degrees Celsius. Few would have survived longer than 15 minutes in the water, while around 1 in 5 would have died within 2 minutes from the cold and shock. The Titanic sinks hours after hitting iceberg. 866 rescued by Carpathia. Probably 1,250 perish. Ismay safe. Mrs. Astor may be noted. Names missing. The wreck of the Titanic was discovered in 1985 and lies 370 miles off the coast of Newfoundland. Robert Ballard was a deep-sea explorer with a dream to find the Titanic. The U.S. Navy asked Ballard to find and photograph 2 sunken submarines in the Atlantic on a secret mission. Then they allowed Ballard to go back and photograph the Titanic. They've recovered a lot from the wreck. Around 6,000 artifacts have been recovered. They are on display at museums around the world, and some have been sold at auction at high prices.